¿Quieres dejar los papeles? Como prefieras.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the event Banned by Law, Backed by Love, standing up for the rule of law and fundamental rights. We are honored to have you all here today. My name is Kata Jakšić and I will be the host for this event. And I also want to greet those who are following us, I don't know, online. We have online streaming. Szeretettel köszöntök mindenkit, a magyar vendégeinket is, de hogy ez ne legyen, hogy egész délután alatt angolul is, magyarul is beszélek, és ezzel húzom az időt, és esetleg kevesebb marad arra, hogy kialakuljon egy beszélgetés, és kérdezni is tudjanak, ezért abban maradtunk a szervezőkkel, hogy elsősorban angolul vezetem föl azokat, akik majd a színpadra lépnek, de majd amikor kinyitjuk a beszélgetést, akkor itt keveredni fog minden. Magyarul is lehet kérdezni, angolul is. Ott ülnek a tolmácsaink, köszönjük a munkájukat. Őtőlük is kaptam egy kis kérést, hogy próbálok mindennek megfelelni, hogy próbáltuk beállítani, hogy milyen tempóban beszéljek, hogy mindent tudjanak fordítani. In response to the recent legal crackdown on human rights, the rule of law and the banning of pride in Hungary, this event aims to bring together key voices from civil society, EU representatives and international allies in a shared act of resistance, solidarity and visibility. We open today's program with the European anthem, a symbol of unity, solidarity and shared values. Right after that, we invite everyone to join us for a collective photo to mark this moment of visibility and resistance, a photo that says we are here, we stand together, we are not going anywhere, but you don't have to go anywhere, just we ask you to stand up for this photo. So first, the European anthem. Okay. And please, don't sit, don't sit. Now we have that photo. Or we had many photos, I think. I don't know, the official photographer was here or not. Yes. Thank you so much. It is now my honor to invite to the stage MEP Klára Dobrev, the leader of the Hungarian delegation in the S&D group and president of the Demokratikus Koalíció Party. She has been one of the most outspoken defenders of democracy, equality and fundamental rights, not just in Hungary, but across Europe. Please welcome Klára Dobrev.
Nagyon szépen köszönöm. Engedjék meg, hogy házigazdaként angolul köszöntsem a vendégeinket, és utána magyarul fogom folytatni. Let me just say a few words in English to you. To all my friends across Europe, to European left, to European social democrats, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being brave with us, and thank you for preserving our values with us. És most hadd folytassam magyarul, hiszen az, ami miatt összejöttünk, az nem egyszerűen csak minden évben szokásos Pride, a büszkeség napjának a megünneplése. Amiért összejöttünk ma, az azért történik, mert európai barátaink, európai baloldali barátaink mutatják azt a szolidaritást, azt a támogatást, amire nekünk, magyaroknak most mindennél nagyobb szükségünk van. Azért, mert ma megünnepelni a meleg büszkeség napját, ma kimenni a Pride-ra Magyarországon bátorságot igényel, és elfhűséget igényel. Mind a kettőt. Éppen a múlt héten fenyegették meg a fideszesek, az igazságügyminisztertől kezdve Orbán Viktoron keresztül mindenki ma reggel, azokat, akik szervezői a holnapi Pride felvonulásnak, hogy sok százezer forint pénzbüntetésre, vagy adott esetben akár egy év börtönbüntetésre is számíthatnak. Azért vagyunk ma itt, hogy megmutassuk, hogy minket nem lehet fenyegetni. Azért vagyunk ma itt, hogy megmutassuk, hogy akkor is ott leszünk holnap, akkor is ott leszünk a Pride-on, hogyha ez nem tetszik a Fidesznek, és nem tetszik Orbán Viktornak. És kell elfhűség is ma ahhoz, hogy az ember elmenjen a Pride-ra, hogy megünnepelje ezt a napot. Én értem a nagyon sok görcsöt, elkeseredést, csalódottságot, frusztrációt, ami a magyarokban benne van. A magyar emberek túlnyomó többsége a háta közepére nem kívánja ezt a hatalmat, amit a Fidesz és Orbán Viktor képvisel. A háta közepére nem kívánja azt a rendszert, amit egyetlen egy ember egy párttal megvalósított itt az elmúlt 15 évben. És igen, vagyunk jó páran, nem csak politikusok, hanem civilek, szakértők, állampolgárok, választópolgárok, akik hangosan és minden erőnkkel küzdünk a rendszerrel szemben. De amikor küzdünk a rendszerrel szemben, akkor meg kell tudnunk fogalmazni, hogy miért küzdünk velük. Azért, mert megvetjük azt a világot, amit ők elképzelnek a magyar embereknek. Mert megvetjük azt a megalkuvást, azt a csöndet, azt a rendfegyelem, azt az egyszínű, kereszténydemokratának hazudott világot, amit ők elképzelnek a magyar emberek számára. Mi nem ilyet akarunk. Mi egy szabad, virágzó demokráciában akarunk élni, ahol szabad az ember, szabad a vélemény, és szabad a szerelem. És hogyha ezt tudjuk, akkor azt is tudjuk, hogy melyek azok az elvek, amelyekhez ragaszkodni akarunk, melyek azok az értékek, amelyekhez ragaszkodni akarunk. És hogyha ezeket az elveket és ezeket az értékeket feladjuk, akkor bajba kerülünk. Tudják, ha egy hatalom el tudja hitetni, hogy csak úgy lehet leváltani, ha a vele szemben állóknak fel kell adniuk az elveiket és az értékrendjüket, akkor az a hatalom már győzött is. Engem a Fidesz sose fog legyőzni. Sose fogom feladni az elveimet és az értékrendemet. Sem félelemből Orbán Viktorért, sem azért, hogy olyan szavazókat szerezzek meg, akiknek alapvetően nem tetszik az, amit a világról gondolok. Szabadság, emberi jogok és szabad szerelem. Ezek azok az értékek, amiért ma itt vagyunk. És felemelő látni, ahogy az európai baloldal minden egyes képviselője az elmúlt hetekben, hónapokban támogatott minket. Hogy itt vannak több mint 100-an, és holnap együtt fogunk vonulni. Hogy itt vannak, és azt mutatják, hogy igen, Európainak lenni azt is jelenti, hogy szabadok vagyunk. És mi, magyarok, európai magyarok szeretnénk lenni. Szabad, európai magyarok. Erről szól ez a mai nap. Nagyon köszönöm, hogy eljöttek.
Our keynote speaker today is someone who needs no introduction in the fight for social justice and equality in Europe. She is the president of the S&D group in the European Parliament and a tireless advocate for the rule of law, gender equality and minority rights. Please welcome to the stage Irache Gracia Perez.
Clara is a very tall woman. Dear friends, let me begin by thanking our host, Clara Dobrev, our brave Hungarian delegation, and every one of you who made this moment possible. Today, we are not just standing in Budapest. We are standing up for rights, for dignity, and for every person in Hungary who refuses to be silent. Because what Viktor Orban has done is not merely an attack on the LGBTIQ community. It is not a simple policy disagreement. No. The manning of pride, it's a European disgrace, a new chapter in the long, shameful history of a regime that feeds on fear, that makes enemies, and that punishes love. Orban claims to protect children. This is what he said. But what kind of father teaches his child that love is shameful? What kind of mother teaches her child to be afraid of who they are? That their identity is a threat? That their love is illegal? This is not conservatism. This is repression. A government that uses facial recognition to intimidate protesters, that fines citizens for assembling peacefully, and that rewrites the Constitution to deny the system of trans people has stopped to be democratic. It has become autocratic. And this is autocratic days to call itself European. They cannot say that autocratic is European. So I ask, how many more red lines must be crossed before the European Commission takes a real decision? How can we speak on defending fundamental rights while the Equal Treatment Directive is in the closet? Really, we need political courage. No statements, no spins, courage. That means requesting interim measures from the Court of Justice to halt this shameful law immediately. That means using Article 7 not a symbolic gesture. That means keeping EU funds frozen because European taxpayers should not finance a government that dismantles the rule of law. But most importantly, that means showing up here in Budapest, on this day, on this street, on this stage, because values means nothing if they are not lived and defended. We cannot fight for Europe only in Brussels. We must defend it here, in the heart of a city where hope is under attack, in the squares where young people want to live freely, in the schools where children are taught to fear who they are. Because this is not just about Hungary, it is about the soul of Europe. every time civil rights are crushed in one member state, our whole union builds. Every time a rainbow flag is banned, a piece of our democracy fades. And this is why we are here, to say with clarity and courage, LGBTIQ rights are not negotiable. Equality is not optional. Pride is not a threat. It is a celebration of who we are and the Europe we want. To our LGBTIQ friends across Hungary, you are not alone. We see you, we hear you, and we are with you. We are with you when the police come with cameras. We are with you when the government calls you dangerous. We are with you when your assistance is debated, is denied. And we will march, even if they ban the streets. We will walk together, proud, loud, together. Let's end the fear. Let's begin again here with this pride, with this act of resistance. Let this gathering be a declaration that love will never be legislated out. Never that the walls out. We will face a way to break through with solidarity, with justice, and with pride. Let's celebrate pride today with revelation, with hope, and with conviction, because Europe will only truly be Europe when no one anywhere has to hide who they are or whom they love, feel safe. And let's honor and fight for the legacy of Karl Maria Kerpeni, the great Hungarian writer and pioneer of the modern LGBTIQ movement, who more than 150 years ago coined the very language we use today to speak of love and identity. He also taught us that the right of women and men should never depend on sexual orientation. Those ideas were, in this moment, revolutionary. They are necessary still. Let's be the generation that finally make them real. Thank you, and see you, and we walk with you. Thank you.
Next, we welcome Kata Tüttő, President of the European Committee of the Regions and the Hungarian politician with over 2 decades of experience in public service, both locally and on the EU level. She has worked on climate adaptation, urban sustainability, and public services as Deputy Mayor of Budapest, and today she continues to amplify local voices at the European level. Please welcome Kata Tüttő.
Thank you very much. I had a dilemma to speak in Hungarian or to speak in English. But the citizens of Budapest, they know why they are marching tomorrow. I'm talking to you who came to bear witness of this, to understand what you are witnessing tomorrow. The 28th of June, it marks a very special day in Hungary. In 1991, 28th of June, the last Soviet soldier left Hungary. And this marked the end of 40 years of Soviet military occupation. 28th of June is a day of freedom in Hungary. Why your presence is very important. Coming here, it means a personal sacrifice. So different from sharing something on social media. Coming here in person, standing beside the mayor of Budapest, who was very brave, who was the one who said, whatever happens, and we know Istanbul, we saw what happened. He said, whatever happens, Budapest will fight for its citizens and will always stand beside its citizens, because Budapest is a free city. It always fought for its freedom, and it's fighting for its freedom until the last breath. Our role since 2019 is not just to run the city, it's to show a different path for Hungary, to practice democracy, to have a memory of how a city, a country should run, because you have to practice this. I often say and believe that local democracies are sort of the last reserves of democracy. There is a very important fresco in Italy, Siena. It was painted in the 14th century by Lorenzetti. It is the allegory, it's in the town hall of the city. It is the allegory of good and bad governance. It shows the architecture of good and bad governance and shows the consequence of good and bad governance. What is the architecture of good governance? It is common good sitting on the throne. Justice comes from common wisdom, and it gives the thread to concordia. And when this happens, peace can rest, and the city flourishes. What is the architecture of bad governance? Bad governance, it is tyranny who sits on the throne. Justice is bound in chains. And when justice is bound in chains, concordia is broken, social cohesion is broken. When justice is bound, then truth disappears. And when truth disappears, trust dies. And when trust dies, the whole structure of society collapses and the city is left in ruins. We know from history that when the collapse of an empire is getting close, the crazier its laws get. This is what we're witnessing, a close collapse of this system, law by law, lie by lie. Tomorrow, the citizens, with you by their sides, will march for their freedom, because this is our struggle. Freedom cannot be imported. It has to be fought for. Tomorrow you will witness society fighting for its freedom, pressing against the government. You're witnessing this fight, and I really thank you for this. Thank you.
It's time to hear from some of the bravest and most committed voices from across Europe. When pride is banned, what comes next? What do we do when visibility becomes resistance? This panel brings together leaders from civil society and European youth movements who are building a future where everyone belongs. They will each share their thoughts, and then we'll open the floor for you for questions and reflections. First of all, I'd like to welcome on stage our panelists, Anna Katerina Mendez, Diana Bakic, and Dorottya Rédai. and I will introduce you one by one. And after my introduction, you can start your speech. First of all, let's start with Ana Catarina Mendes. She began her political career as a member of the Portuguese parliament. During her term, she served as president of the Socialist Party parliamentary group in the Assembly of the Republic. From March 2022 to April 2024, she held the position of Minister for Parliamentary Affairs in the Portuguese government, led by former PM António Costa. She's member of the European Parliament since July 2024, S&D Vice President for the Rule of Law and Strong Democracy, and full member of the Committees on Justice, Liberties and Home Affairs, Security and Defense, and the European Democracy Shield. She was the rapporteur for the annual report on the Rule of Law 2024. Ana Catarina Mendes. Okay, a little bit long introduction.
Thank you very much for the presentation, but especially thank you very much, David, for the invitation to be here. And to be here, as you said, we are here to be with you, fighting for freedom, fighting for dignity, and fighting for human rights. That's what we are doing here. And the question is too easy to answer, but it's too difficult to build the fight that we need to do here. What comes next if we don't have the rights, and not only LGBTQ+, but all the human rights respected? It's easy to answer. We'll have not a democracy, but we will have an autocracy, a dictatorship. That's easy to understand. But what we should do here, and I want to congratulate the fight of Lara. What I think that someone said a few minutes ago, the problem is not an Hungarian problem. It's an Hungarian problem because we have a dictatorship on the leadership of the country, but it's against all Europe, against our belief, our construction of 75 years that we thought we could believe and we could dream in a space with human rights, respect, freedom and democracy. And what we will do these 2 days is say loud that we won't keep our democracy alive for the new generations, and keep our democracy alive for the new generations and for us, by the way, is to give freedom to be what I want to be. Give freedom to love who I want to love, and give freedom to the children have the right to choose what they want to do. It's not acceptable that we have a law in the name of the right of children, and then we cut all the rights, all the basic rights, the fundamental rights of each one of us. So, of course, we can speak a lot, but especially we should join you to fight for our democracies, as you said, on local way, but for a big, big dream that we have, that everybody can be what they want to do and what they want to be in our democracies and in our Europe. That's why I'm here, that's why S&D is here. We are progressists, but we need to give a call to the European Commission. We need to have sanctions, and we need to practice, to put Article 7 respected, and respected is not right to vote on the concilium. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Diana Bakic, newly elected as president of Rainbow Rose, following 2 years as vice president and 2 years as a board member. Diana has a background in LGBTI advocacy in her native Bosnia and Herzegovina. She currently works for the Sarajevo Open Center and was one of the founding committee members for Bosnia and Herzegovina Pride, holding their first Pride parade in the capital Sarajevo in 2019. She is an active member of SDP Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud to be here as a member of the LGBTI community and as a comrade. I think it's so much important to show up. This moment is so important for the community, for our social democratic movement. And I'm so happy to see many friendly faces and us as a political family united here for this cause, for the fight for democracy, for the fight for LGBTI equality, for the fight of human dignity, for fairness, for the fight for actually what are our values. Because me, as an LGBTI person and as a socialist in Pride, I see our values and what we as a social democrats represent. And this is also what we are fighting tomorrow and today to preserve those values. I know how challenging it is to organize Pride. As you said, I was the organizer of the Bosnian Herzegovinian Pride March for the first time only in 2019. And we did struggle a lot with a lot of administrative barriers, a lot of pushbacks from the government, but it was not banned. And I know how Pride is an important tool for the community in advocacy, but also in fighting for our existence. But also it's an important event to show our visibility and show our love and show our dignity. It is a protest, but it also is a celebration of us keeping alive, showing our braveness and in that moment, because it's not easy to live in societies as Hungary, in societies as in Western Balkans. And it's important also to celebrate the struggles of our previous sisters and brothers and sisters who made it possible to be here. That's why I think it's important, and to answer the question, like what's next, I think we are creating the answer today, like in the now. And as I held a speech at the Europe Pride in Lisbon last weekend, only last weekend, together with the other LGBTI groups from other parties in European Parliament, and I said, like, for us, we show up. And it's important to show this international solidarity, but also solidarity within our political family. It's not only us members of Rainbow Rose LGBTI network of the Party of European Socialists, like who are like together there with the community and representing ourselves. It's also showing this solidarity with the decision-making process, with the decision makers, as you members of European Parliament, because you are there, you are communicating with the community, you see the struggle, like at the front line, you hear the voices, you amplify the voices, and then you create policies and make decisions there at the places where they are being made to improve the lives of LGBTI people. I think that there's something that we are doing here today and we are doing here tomorrow. That's why I'm so thankful that you are here and that there's so much presence from our political family here. To be here as queer community, but also as a political family, and stand in solidarity with the Pride organizers, with the LGBTI community, and Hungarian people who are fighting for democracy is so much important. It's not our first time. We held our GA last November here in Budapest. We understand how important this is to be there with the community, especially like in local communities or countries where it's not that easy to live and to be yourself. And we were there for Budapest Pride and previous previous years. We were there in Belgrade for Europride, and we've seen firsthand how it is hard to actually organize pride in these right-wing regimes, and it's also how important it is to fight it. So once again, I'm so proud, and I'm so happy to be privileged enough to be here, to stand in solidarity with my community, show our political strength, and create actions, actually, in this moment, because of the epilogue of this moment, I believe that we will get an answer on what's next. And for us, we just want to live freely, live happily in what we are, but also based on our socialist, social democratic principle values. That's what we are, a part of this family. So yeah, I'm also a bit of emotional, and I think emotions is important in these moments. So I'm super happy to be here to create this community and to create this fight together, and then hopefully we will win. We will win. Thank you so much for your support and solidarity.
Dorothea Reda is the executive director of the Labris Lesbian Association. She holds a PhD in gender studies from the Central European University. She joined Labris in 2004. Her main scientific and activist interests are gender and sexuality issues in education, and she's the author of several scientific publications in this field. She coordinated the internationally recognized book project A Tale for Everyone. Dori.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me as a representative of Hungarian civil society. And thank you all for being here. I think, as you also mentioned already, expression of real solidarity, which goes beyond, Facebook likes and signing petitions from our home office. Being there in person is really, really important for the community. I would also like to especially greet the Hungarian national television, because it's very rare for an independent civil society organization to have a chance to be reported on Hungarian national television. You have a specific question, or should I also reflect on? Okay, I think that the reason why it's really crucial for European parliamentary parties to gather in Budapest. I know that the Social Democrats are here, the Greens are here, the Liberals are here, is because what we are experiencing, as was also said before, is being experienced in other countries. And in Hungary, very often, especially political analysts like to say that, laws that are implemented against LGBTQI people are just a distraction from more important matters. And first of all, there are several more important matters at the same time, so I don't think that anybody's attention would be distracted from, inflation, corruption, poverty, difficulties of making ends meet by the end of the month by taking away rights from a sexual and gender minority group. And also what we see, what's happening now, it didn't start yesterday. It started in 2010. I could list all of the laws and legal measures that gradually took away rights from the LGBTQI community in Hungary. The anti-LGBTQI political campaign jumped up into a more intensive gear in 2020, but even that was not the first step. So it's an ongoing process, and it seems that ruining LGBTQI communities, taking away or interfering with these communities' rights, women's rights, and also children's rights are core of autocratic regimes. This is something that's very important that we understand, because it's happening also in other countries, and these will always be the core of authoritarian regimes. So this is something that we really should remember, that this is not something instead of something else, but something crucial.
Thank you all. And now we open the floor for questions from the audience. If you like to share your thought or ask a question, please raise your hand. And I would like to ask you all that first, please introduce yourself before your speech or question, and keep the time around 3-4 minutes for the question or for a speech. És magyarul is mondom, hogy így is biztassak, tehát senkit ne akadályozzon, hogyha jobban tudná magát kifejezni magyarul, vagy úgy szeretne kérdezni, nyugodtan, azért vannak itt a tolmácsaink. Magyarul is, angolul is, nem tudom, más nyelven is, vagy azt azért most ne nyissam ki ennyire. Jó.
Hi, thank you for the microphone. No one was taking it, so I'm taking the liberty. My name is Marene Elgershuizen. I'm a vice president in Rainbow Rose from the Netherlands. And I wanted to ask my president, Diana, what would be the one thing that you would like from the S&D group, from the PES, if you could wish it right now? What would you want?
I think that we are already doing it by being here together, like not just like a PES, but its members. Like, as you can see at this beautiful banner, like it's supporting us as a community, Rainbow Rose, in our struggle, in our fight, but also joining together for this common fight. FEPS, PES Committee of the Regions, so S&D group. I think that we are already doing it together. We are building this joint fight for LGBTI equality, and that's our actually mission, advancing LGBTI rights across Europe. So showing up there, I think that you are already doing it, but let's continue. It's not like just here today now. It will. It's about also what next, as the question in the in the title of this panel is. It's also continuing this, because for us it's an ongoing struggle, and it's just now, and we are facing a lot of threats in the last period, and more from the anti-gender actors, from right-wing regimes. So it's harder and harder to organize, to fight, to live for some people. So I think it's important to have that in mind, to think about our privileges, and also to use our tools and our positions of power to actually create change and join forces for that. And it's important to continue showing up for the community, talking with the community, and inviting them in this beautiful political family to jointly create change.
Can you hear me? Yes. My name is Gunvar Vibro. I'm a member of the Danish Parliament. I'm spokesperson on LGBT rights and gender equality. And I also represent the Social Democratic Party. My leader is the Prime Minister of Denmark. On Tuesday, Denmark will take the presidency of the EU. What would your message be to us? That's one question. And the other question is, We are going to walk together, united in pride tomorrow. And I'm really looking forward to be a member of this community. So when I go home to Denmark and work in the parliament, how can I contribute to your work? How can I help you back in Denmark? Thank you.
Don't be shy.
If I can. Thank you for your question. I should say one thing. We are here for Hungary, but we are here, as I said, for democracy in Europe. And what we feel at the moment, and the presidency could play a role next 6 months, is a threat to the civil society, to all the organizations, NGOs. It's not only the far right, it's also the right. And what I think that we should do, as you have the presidency of European Union the next 6 months, is fight for civil society. Because if we kill civil society, we will kill democracy. And that's the main issue that I, as Portuguese, but as member of the European Parliament, and rapporteur from the Rule of Law report for 2024, I should say that I'm really concerned because our democracy is under attack when civil society is under attack. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to join what you said. Well, I mean, I can't really represent the whole of civil society, obviously, but I think it's quite a general wish that the European Union as an institution wake up finally and designs and implements measures that respond faster. So, you know, there's a Article 7 procedure against Hungary since 2018, and it's going nowhere. I mean, that's not, you know, that's not helpful. And also, so I think there should be more direct measures, more direct procedures, more direct mechanisms to sanction anti-democratic actions of member states, and not necessarily financially. I disagree with the Social Democrats on the withdrawing of funds from Hungary, because it eventually affects the people. What I would do if I was in the position would be to implement more direct control on how the money is spent. And on the other hand, make it possible for civil society, including, you know, civil organizations, local governments, you know, ungovernmental institutions to receive financial support more directly, so that it doesn't go through a corrupt government, because that's where the money disappears most of the time. And so I think this would be very important. I'm sure you know, if you follow how the Orbán government is using, you know, EU actions or sanctions against Hungary. They turn it around in rhetorics and frame it as attack against Hungarian national sovereignty. So these measures are not necessarily directly helpful, but in the long run they are very necessary, I think, and very helpful. And also they are important for the civil society, for the community, for us LGBTQI people and organizations. It really gives us a lot of reassurance that we are not alone. So you know, the kind of communication, you know, that supports LGBTQI groups is not necessarily, it will not convince Orbán, but it will give us support. So these are the things that I I would really start working on if I was in your position. Thank you.
Is this what? Oh. If I just may add, like LGBTI issues needs to be on the agenda, like always. And we, as a Rainbow Rose Network, I'm sure, like S&D Group and PES, will be there as partners in that process. I agree, as someone who works for the civil society organization, most of our funds are from actually, like, you know, international community, because our governments won't give us money because of what we are working for and fighting for. So it needs to be priority, the support for civil society, because civil society is there for us as a partner as well in this fight. But also someone coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina, that is like an EU accession country. EU enlargement is an important topic and process that needs to be followed, especially now when talking about LGBTI rights. Freedom of assembly and also LGBTI equality are among priorities for each of the country that is actually aiming to be a part of the European Union. So we see so much potential in being the part of the EU, European Union, and it concerns also LGBTI community who would, I guess, be more, even though in the case of Hungary now it's not, yeah, even being a part of European Union, it's a lot of struggles, but yeah, for me, coming from the Western Balkans, EU enlargement is important for the LGBTI community, and that process should continue.
Jessica ORI. I'm a Luxembourgish journalist. Yeah, Mr. Angel invited us to come with him. I wanted to ask you, what is the day-to-day life as a queer person here in Hungary? Could you speak more on the experiences, on how the restriction of your freedom, what it means for you?
Yeah, that's a difficult question because obviously, if you belong to a community, an activist community, then, well, first of all, you are probably living in a bigger city. There are several LGBTQI organizations in Budapest and a few in the countryside in bigger cities. So if you belong to these communities, then your life is easier because you have your community. So you support each other. You know what you are fighting for. You are not afraid to be out. You know, you have your agenda. You have your support, peer support. Yeah, so we manage. But those people who are very closeted, that's why we don't really know much about their lives. But we can imagine that it must be extremely hard for them, especially if they happen to live in a very hostile environment, in an environment where all this like hate propaganda, hate rhetoric is internalized by their, you know, by their peers, then it must be very hard. And I know that a lot of young queer people, you know, they just don't want to live in such a country where, you know, they can't, you know, freely have children, they can't get married. There are laws all the time. You never know, maybe tomorrow there will come a new law that will strip some rights of yours away. So it's a very uncertain legal environment. There's rhetoric all the time. You know, you never know whether in your workplace it will harm you if it turns out that you are an LGBTQ person. So there's a lot of insecurity and a lot of mental stress on people because of the ongoing hate propaganda. So it's really difficult, and we as activists also have to take a lot of care of ourselves not to let this ongoing mental pressure impact us in you know, in a way that we can't continue our work. And sometimes it's really difficult. So So you really have to fight hard, not just for the community, but for yourself as well.
Next question, or you can also share your thoughts.
Yes, hi, my name is Dennis Boutkan. I'm from Amsterdam, and I used to be a city council member for the city of Amsterdam for 8 years. And thank you very much for the invitation to be here, because of course we stand by in your struggle. And I also want to apologize for one of my fellow citizens, which name is Geert Wilders, because he's a big friend of Orban, and he's also the guy of the biggest party at the moment in the Netherlands, and I think it's really a big shame in the way he exploits anti-racism, and in that sense also is promoting discrimination. But the question I have is, do you also think that because of the international attention and because of so many people coming up, that maybe Orban is also going to profit in the 2026 election, because politicians always like to have a good fight, with a topic, and do you think that maybe also because he can say now, look at the LGBT community, look at this damn EU people, and maybe that he will gain also votes in the 2026 election?
Well, in the 2022 election, Orban got a referendum on the same day as the elections were, and the referendum contained 4 homophobic and transphobic questions. He wanted to gain votes by getting more people to vote, and then they will also vote at the referendum once they are there. And the whole 2022 election campaign was built on hatred against the LGBTQI community. So I don't see the reason why he would drop this topic if he thinks that it benefited him, even though statistics show that support for the LGBTQI community is growing sharply in the past few years. But I think that growing support comes from those who would not want to vote for Orban anyway. So I think Orban is talking only to his own voters, and I think he tries to continue to keep these voters by inciting hatred against a minority group for them. So far we don't see that he's changing his strategy. We wonder what will happen after the Budapest Pride. It depends how it will turn out, obviously, but whether he will... Nowadays it seems like even though reality or even those statistics or public opinion says something, he follows his agenda. And I think this is because of what I said earlier, because hatred against sexual minorities is at the core of the regime that he's trying to build up. So I don't think he will just give it up opportunistically so easily. But that's my personal opinion.
I have a microphone. Yes, I have a microphone. If I could jump in, because I would like to continue what you are telling. When is Orban winning? Orban is winning if we, who are against Orban, who are colorful community against Orban, liberals, social democrats, moderate conservatives, if we gave up. So Orban can win only if he convinces the community who is fighting against Orban that it's good to be in silence. When you start to make compromises with Orban, when political forces do not resist the Orban propaganda. I think the Pride tomorrow and this event today is important, because if you show strength, if you show unity in your values, then Orbán cannot win, because I strongly believe the majority of the Hungarian society is not homophobic. What it needs is to speak it up, to be loud, to show it, and not to make very shady compromises, just being in silence, being afraid of Orbán and being afraid of his propaganda. So I think everyone who wants the Orbán regime to go down has to support the Pride and has to support the LGBTQI community. Whether you are socialist, green, liberal, or moderate conservatives, who is not doing it, that will strengthen Orbán.
Do we have anybody else to share his or her thought?
There were some things I cannot leave here, okay? Because when you talk about the sanctions, that hurts, okay? It hurts. It hurts me. This is our struggle. The Hungarian immune system is still alive. This battle, we have to win it. This is what I said. What you will witness tomorrow is the living immune system of Hungarian society pushing back against pathological authority. This is what's happening. It's a living immune system. Freedom comes from this struggle, and it has to be done by us. Your support is very important, but it is our struggle. And I understand the whole situation, but what happened with cohesion funds not arriving, it weakened us. It weakened Budapest. It weakened other cities, other reserves of democracies. We are putting up a fight, Hungarian cities, leaders, communities. And when cohesion funds are not arriving, it hurt the immune system. So if I look at the Danish presidency, cohesion funds are one of the most important stabilizing tools of the European Union. It's not just about roads, not just about connecting territories. It's about the social cohesion. And under the smoke of simplification, I see bad things arriving on cohesion funds. And our common interest is that Hungary stays within the fabric of the European Union and stays within the fabric of the European Union, not so weak, its territories not weakened, because if it's weakened, it will tear. And then the whole fabric of the EU tears. So there are no simple solutions, but we are fighting this battle. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Emma Rafovic. I'm an MEP from France, and I'm also a local elected in Paris. So I wanted to say first that I completely connect with what you just said about the importance of cities and as place of resistance. As you know, we also in France are, well, not today obviously living under the far right, but it is a risk. And as we are preparing local elections, we are also preparing these elections thinking how our cities can become places of resistance and really places where the LGBTQI plus community, but also migrants, where people who are excluded by the far right can live peacefully and safely. I wanted maybe to rebound on what you just said about cohesion funds. Because obviously what we are fighting right now is a fight for democracy, a fight for Europe, a fight for the state of law, as Anna Katarina just said and well said. But obviously everything also lies in how do we do things and how do we implement everything that we are saying. Obviously the right today, as we are preparing our defense strategy, is sometimes saying that whether we should not all, increase the budget, what should happen then sometimes is, in the simplification debate that actually have less budget for cities, for cohesion funds. We believe that this is obviously not a good idea, and we are fighting for cohesion funds in the European Parliament. We are also fighting for saying that everything that the European Parliament does, everything that Europe does in our countries, should also be with a conditionality for countries to respect the state of law. And I think that maybe we need to work together on how do all of these things that we are saying, that we should save, obviously, cohesion funds, but also that we should be able to put sanctions on governments that obviously are not respecting European values. We should work together as how does it work in our discourses, but also obviously in our public strategies and policies. I want to say that we are with you, obviously, and that if we are here today, it is because we think that it is really important for our European project and for the socialist project. And yeah, just saying from also the YES organizations and the youth organizations that obviously we are here for you also. Thank you so much.
Does it work? Yeah. Hello, I'm coming from Barcelona. I'm Commissioner for European Affairs of Barcelona. And I wanted to echo words of the President Committee of Regions, dear Kata, that when we were preparing the declaration that Barcelona passed the plenary 3-4 months ago, obviously what we say from the distance is, yes, let's ban or ban. Let's put sanctions or ban, or let's punish them for cohesion funds. But then what about Budapest? What about the cities? So what we have to do, when we had this text, the first thing that we did is to send it to Kata, to send it to the mayor, and to say it what we have written was comfortable with them, because we think that from the distance, from a city like Barcelona, that we have all the freedoms for the moment, but you have all the freedoms. And you were saying are becoming cities, no, cities are the resistance at this moment, and Budapest is an example. We need to understand how it's the best way to work. And what I wanted to ask to you, but also the Kata and so on is, yes, tomorrow, I see the mayor of Athens. Tomorrow, a lot of cities and representatives. Tonight, the mayor of Barcelona is arriving as well. But after tomorrow, what these cities that has become the resistance in Europe for the European dream can keep working with you cities that resist these autocracies and you civil movements that are fighting for these rights, that after tomorrow we have to keep fighting, and these cities are a platform for the Europe that we all dream. So just wanted to keep the conversation with all of you that we have a long to go. I've been told today that perhaps this is the last year of our ban. So please tell us, how can we help you? How come from these cities of resistance and the European dream can we keep working with you? Thank you.
Okay, I think that was last. Not question, but thought shared. Thank you for coming here on the stage and share your thoughts. To conclude today's program, we are honored to welcome MEP Marc Angel, Questor of the European Parliament and President of the LGBTIQ Intergroup. He has spent decades in public service advocating for social rights, equality and dignity. He is not only a policymaker, but a powerful ally of the LGBTIQ community. Please welcome Marc Angel.
Thank you. I think it's working. Yes, Dear comrades, thank you very much, first of all, to Clara and all the comrades here from Hungary to welcoming us, but also to the fantastic S&D team under the leadership of our Secretary General Fabrizia and her team for organizing this outreach event. I want to thank a lot of you, our allies. A few of us are members of the LGBTI community, but we would be nothing with you, the allies who support us and who understand how important it is to protect minorities, because it's with the protection of minorities that you measure democracy in a country. So thank you for all the allies who are here with us. This is so important. And I also am very happy that we started this event with the European hymn. Why? Because it shows that the socialists and social democrats are the most pro-European parties. We are never working together with the far right, and we're working against those who want to destroy our European Union. And we have been working the last years to deepen the social dimension of the European Union and to deepen and strengthen the union of equality. And I think by these two dimensions of our union, these are the best to protect our democracy, because people feel it when we do social policies. They need it, and they also need equality. And I visited the house where Jean Monnet lived. Jean Monnet, who wrote the Schuman Declaration together with Robert Schuman. And I'm reading his book now, and I found a very interesting quote. I say it in French first. He said, "Il n'y aura pas de paix durable si elle est basée sur la discrimination." There will be no sustainable peace if based on discrimination, already in the 50s. So this, I think, is very important. We're also here to defend the LGBTI community, but to defend European values. This is more than LGBTIQ rights. It's about our European fundamental rights, democracy, Article 2, and our wonderful Charter of Fundamental Rights. And we are here to raise awareness that Viktor Orban is writing a playbook. And other countries and other political leaders from fascist and far-right parties are watching what he's doing. And if they see that there is no reaction from the Commission, they say, we can do the same. We can violate EU fundamental rights. We can violate EU directives, and nothing happens. Therefore, on one side, we are very happy about the rule of law reports by the Commission, and you, the Parliament, made a really tough report on it with here Anna Catarina Mendes. It's good to monitor, but now we need action. And, you know, Ursula von der Leyen had 3 months' time to react when this law came to ban Pride. It's 2 days before, under the pressure of civil society and pressure of the pro-democratic groups in the parliament, that she came out now. Yes, it's never too late. She said it, but now actions must follow, and we will be the ones who make sure that actions will follow. Because we can't remain silent. And I want to be brief. It was a long afternoon. I want just to say a few things. The far right wants to make you believe, or wants to make believe people, that there is something like a gay agenda or an LGBTI agenda, or even they talk about the gender ideology. I'm very clear, there is no gender ideology. What we do when you defend when you're a feminist and you defend women's rights, you're defending human rights. When you defend LGBTIQ+ rights, you defend human rights. It's just anti-discrimination laws that we want, equality, the union of equality. And that's not an ideology. The ideology are those who want to keep us in patriarchy. These are the ideologists, ultra-religious, crazy ideologists, fascist ideologies. That's ideologies. Human rights is not an ideology. It's what we are standing for as social democrats. And as a gay person, I tell you also something. I didn't become gay because I watched a Netflix series once, or because whatever happened to me. I knew it when I was a kid already, and this is the same for every lesbian, this is the same for every transgender person, for every intersex person. Often they don't know it because they have been operated without knowing, so that's another subject. But it's certainly not an ideology. This is an identity. And being an LGBTI person is also not a choice, but being homophobic, being transphobic, being LGBTI phobic. That is a clear choice. And we have to combat these people who choose to spread hate. And we know hate speech often ends in hate crime. And therefore, this is also a message we will send tomorrow. And I said it in my speech. I come also here, not because I think the pride should be banned, but what we should ban is the love story between Orban and Putin. This we have to ban. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This concludes the official part of our program. Thank you for standing with us in solidarity, in resistance, and in love. And thank you for our audience online to watching us this time.
And our wonderful host.
Oh, thank you. And now we would like to invite you to stay with us to, I don't know, we have some glass of friendship, what? Friendship?